Go ahead.
All right, so for my last class in my teacher leader program, I was asked to choose intervention to implement in my classroom and share with you all today. So I chose the reading intervention. I have my table of contents that we'll be going over. It's my vision statement, my PLC agenda, my problem and intervention, my reading fluency article that I chose, my intervention that I implemented, and the data and reflection and next steps for that. My vision statement is to encourage, motivate, and challenge students to reach their full potential while ensuring they have the tools needed to become lifelong learners. And then here's our agenda. It's basically the same thing as my table of contents, just because we're going to be introducing the PLC, completing a learning activity. I will show you the problem, intervention, and my goal, my data and my data analysis, my reflection, and we will discuss the next steps. The problem is last year our math data showed that only 46% of first grade students at Jessie Stewart scored proficient or distinguished in reading. So in my opinion, that's a very small percentage. So my intervention strategy is cold reads, and basically what that is every 2 weeks my students receive a cold read passage that is on first grade level. And what I do is I sit down and I time them for 60 seconds to see how many words per minute they read. And while I'm doing that, I also mark their errors. And while I'm doing that, I record that data. And then I have the student look at their errors, I give them immediate feedback, and then they read it again. So after that, I do also 60 seconds again while still marking their errors, and then that is the data that I chose to implement my graphs that you'll see later on. So we're getting the data that they have read, they've looked at it, they've read it, I've made the errors that they made, I've given them feedback, and now they're reading it for a second time. So they're seeing it twice, and that's the data that you'll see in my charts. The goal is that first grade students should be reading 10 words per minute by the end of the first trimester, which is November 18th, and they should be reading 23 words per minute by the end of the second trimester, which is March 3rd. So you'll see on both graphs that I implemented both goals. I showed you my results for November 18th and March 3rd. The article I chose was about reading fluency and how its importance is getting very popular with reading. People are seeing that comprehension and phonics skills is all stemming from reading fluency. And I chose a couple of quotes to tell you today. It says, since the publication of the National Reading Panel Report and other recent scholarly reviews of scientific research, reading fluency has taken a front seat in discussions about student reading success and effective instruction in reading. So it's basically just telling us that reading fluency is the core of reading. If they can't read fluently, they're not going to understand what they're supposed to be reading. My article also discussed 3 different dimensions of reading fluency, and the one I focused on was automatic processing. So readers need to expand as little mental effort as possible in the decoding aspect of reading. So they shouldn't be sounding out their words. They should look at the word and automatically know what it is. It's automatic processing. So that's what my article covered. This is my chart and my graph for my whole class. And you'll see on this side is my dates, and I'll also give you a copy of this graph in paper. It's my dates, and then it also gives my average of word per minute for all of my students. So you can see that on August 19th, my word per minute average was 35 words per minute. They were supposed to be reading 0 words per minute at that time. So that shows that my class is already above their goal. And then you'll see my goals that I made were 10 words per minute and 23 words per minute. When they were supposed to be reading 10 words per minute, they were reading 58 words per minute. And when they were supposed to be reading 23, they're reading 76. So if you look over here, you'll see the navy line is the series, the black line is the trend, and my pink line is my goal. So you'll see that my students are well above their goal and above the trend line. Where it drops off right here is just where I haven't inputted another fluency cold read. So that's just going back down to 0 because we haven't done that yet. But you'll see that my students are well above their goal in their graph. I also chose to do a scatter plot graph, which is every single individual student. So every dot you see is one of my students. The blue line shows the 10 words per minute that they should have gotten. So after 4 cold reads, 94%, which is 17 out of my 18 students, met their goal of reading 10 words per minute. So you'll see that one student did not. She was at 5 words per minute. So each dot represents a different student, and that's our goal. So all of my other students are above, and you'll see that some of them that are on 50 even are higher. I just stopped the graph at 50. And then this is for my second goal. After 9 cold reads, 94% again met their goal of reading 23 words per minute or more. You'll see that even my student that didn't meet the first goal exceeded the second goal, and then another student actually was the one who did not meet that goal. So this is the same type of plotted graph, it's just a different goal. So 10 words the first time, 23 words the second time. And then the growth is my largest number of growth from first cold read to my last was 106 words per minute. So I had one student go from, I think, 120 words per minute to 107 or 240 words per minute just by using this intervention. Then my smallest number of growth was my, from first cold read to last was 10 words per minute, and that was the student who did not make their goal the second time for 23 words per minute. And then what's next? Considering only one student did not reach their goal, I found this intervention to be successful in my classroom. After researching many different fluency interventions, this one was the most convenient for me and took up the least amount of time in my day. For next steps, what I could do better is I will continue to implement the cold reads because my first graders should be reading 52 words per minute or more by May. So I will continue my graph and my data to make sure they all succeed in that. I could use differentiated cold reads for different ability groups. So for my below, on, and above, they would be different. Right now they're all the same on a first grade on level. And I could integrate them into a reading group time. So having a set time every day for my students to be working on their cold reads. And that is all.